dog sight. Tell me been in that living room all white. I'm up all night, season ends while niggas sleeping. Lost so many guys, guess why I'm breathing. We keep it strong as the name live on, like if they was never gone. Mind blown, and even my head is sin.
Hey, what's going on, man? Welcome back to the Grit Culture. Man, let's talk about it. So you got this whole brawl happening up in New York, up in the Mecca, New York City, at the restaurant Carmine's. Apparently, there was some dispute where, a group of women, not a group, but a group of people, they went to eat there, and some of the members weren't allowed to be in because not all of them could prove their vaccination status. The whole vaccination passport and that whole overreach, that whole government overreach that's happening in New York City. That was one of the first cities that implemented that BS. And it's BS. Like I said, just following their own standard, following their own law. You have all these damn fools talking about what's right, what's constitutional when it goes their way. But they don't want to. They don't want to honor the Constitution when And I'm mainly speaking about the Democrats, but it's it's both of them. It's both sides. Democrats, the Republicans, all of them. They all take different sides of the spectrum. They only take different pieces of the Constitution, different amendments, and they back them while stomping on other aspects of it, right? And so this is one of them, but mainly it's been Democrats who have been on the the wrong side of history of this one. But it's for a reason. Like I always said, it's the Republicans are there to be in the way of freedom. So anytime they say something or say something that looks like it's on the side of freedom, well, they got a lot of jackasses on their side, so they're there to deter that and push, divert people away from that, moving toward that direction, right? But anyway, let's get into the story, man. I got the news clip, and this is from Eyewitness ABC, New York. Man, let's take a look at the clip, man. Man, this shit's crazy, man. What a time that we live in, man, where nothing's, sacred. But, it's always been like that. It's been a gradual pull toward things. They've suckered us in, used all type of, civil rights movements and all type of different things to kind of move toward these things to where they could tell you what to do with their restaurants. Starting with, Civil Rights Act when it comes to things like race. Instead of, repairing and, making things right. What that act does is tell a restaurant what they can and can't do. You can't deny a person service based on their skin color, their religion, their sex or whatnot. And I think that's, I think anybody that has that type of mindset is fucked up, completely fucked up in the head. But, you start to think about the different precedents that it sets, right? And so this is something that has to be taken in mind. And, that's why because once, they start leveraging what a private business can do, instead of just having the market and the feedback and the people, set what's right, instead of having them do what's right and, if the people are all together, they won't patronize that type of restaurant, right? But like I said, things were all fucked up. People were brainwashed the same way people are brainwashed today. So it's a tricky thing, man. It's a tricky fucking situation, man. But man, let's get into it. Let's get into the story, man. Let's see what this brawl was all about.
Security will be standing guard at Carmine's restaurant on the Upper West Side of Manhattan this week. And this after a hostess there was assaulted by a group of tourists from Texas after she asked them for proof of their vaccination. The violent incident was all caught on camera. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon is live on the Upper West Side with the unsettling scene. Sonia.
Now, I read a little bit of the story. The women that are being charged are from Texas. I don't know if the whole entire group is from there. What it looks like was happened, the women, they had proof of vaccination and they were let inside. They were allowed to go inside, but and then a couple other of their friends were also allowed to pass also, but it was 3 others that was a part of their party that didn't have that proof. And so a whole, there was a whole back and forth and everything, and it's said that now these women are alleging that you got into the brawl. They're alleging that a racial slur was used. Don't know if that's true or not. It does happen. Folks do use racial slurs and shit like that, but at the same time, black folks lie about that shit a lot of time, pull the race card to get them out of a situation and say they're provoked. I, for one, don't believe that you should be able to beat somebody's ass because of what they say, but I understand it. Somebody called me a nigger, they probably gonna get their ass stomped into the ground, right? Gonna get their ears stomped together. But at the same time, I'm not gonna not tell the justice system or whatever the fuck. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna take my punishment, because you can't whoop somebody's ass over words, Only time, physical threats, violence, or anything, I personally permit that is when, you're getting threatened or some, an immediate threat. Somebody talking shit and you being, not talking shit, but sending threats your way, sending threats toward your family, and you're being proactive, right? But just words and name calling, that's always it shows a weakness in a person that needs to be fixed, because then that'll always be able to be used to throw you off your square. It's one of the main things that I talk about when we talking about stuff, dealing with the violence that we see in our cities and everything like that. When we're trying to deal with conflict resolution, we got to let a lot of shit slide, man. We got to let a lot of shit slide and keep our eye on the prize, on what we're aiming for, right? But you can't do that if you got these little trigger words. Somebody call you a name and you're really ready to throw your life away, or not just your life away, but do shit that can deter your life. So we ain't got time for that. But I understand it. But like I said, keep in mind, hey, there was a time I played that lie. I kicked the white dude's ass and told him he called me a racial slur, and it was a complete lie. And it happens a lot. Let's not front. So we don't know, but let's get more into it.
Now, Liz, this is something that restaurant workers have been worried about, having to argue with customers over that vaccine mandate that just began to be enforced 3 days ago. Restaurants have had a hard enough time just surviving for the last year and a half. But yesterday, someone captured it on video, getting a rough time from a customer.
And about that, you don't take that to the restaurant. If a restaurant, anybody, whether it's a restaurant, any place, somebody's house, that's their rules. A restaurant, is private business. Even if they're got some type of contract with the government, it's still somebody owns that. So whatever it is there, and that's what I was talking about at the start, man. Whatever it is, whatever boundaries or parameters the restaurant sets that they want you to follow, you got to follow it, man. You got to follow it. Or go somewhere else that doesn't. Or start your own shit. That's always the best thing, is start your own shit. But we get too caught up in convenience. We want everything right now. The same shit that they make in these restaurants, you can make at home, right? But it's more convenient to, go to the restaurant and have it, have your food served to you hot and ready, warm. You will go chill, have drinks with everybody. It's convenient. But I've talked about the downside of having everything that's convenient, So man, you got to take that up with the state. And, you know, be on the side of the restaurants that have a problem. There's a restaurant in New York City that said they won't enforce it. They're not going to listen to what the city's saying. Now, the city's going to fine them, you know, I think it's like $1,000 on the first one, and then they're going to keep open, you know, ramping it up. Hell, you had the guy, the gym owner, what was it, Attilas or whatever the name of the gym was in New Jersey, that, you know, they wouldn't shut down during the whole shutdowns when the pandemic started back in 2020. And man, it got to the point to where, you know, well, I mean, they, you know, what it always comes down to is, you know, bringing the police involved, sending the police to your door. And I thought that was, you know, one of the main things, you know, too much police power that we, you know, everybody's supposed to be fighting with all those protests, the George Floyd, the Breonna Taylor and stuff like that. But, you know, not just that, but they froze the man's accounts, man. I mean, that's how real it is, because he can't make money. They don't want him to make money. And the whole thing, man, this whole thing, none of it follows science. Like I said, man, you spread it at the same rate. You spread it at the same rate whether you've got jabbed or not. You carry the same viral load. It spreads at the same rate. And it's been shown through so many, you know, different tests, so many, you know, so much research. You see what's happening over in Israel right now. It's been shown over and over again. So, you know, the only thing that's at risk is the person who decides not to get it, and they take the chance of them dying, right? But nonetheless, like I said, man, you got to take the gripe to the city, because it's government overreach. But if the restaurant decides that they want to comply with what the city says and stuff like that, I mean, that's their decision. But you still got to take the side of the restaurant that decides that they want to fight against that. But you can't go to the restaurants and be telling them and snapping on the owner and snapping on the employees. You know, a lot of these folks are just trying to get by. And like I said, you know, they're being threatened at the barrel of a gun. Like I said, because that's what it all comes down to.
Into getting roughed up for the young woman at the hostess stand here at Carmine's who just asked for vaccine proof. The video shows 3 women attacking the restaurant hostess, lunging at her after refusing to show vaccine proof and ID. You can hear her screaming as others come to help her and stop the attack.
This is just a ridiculous situation. Our employee, thankfully, is safe right now. She's extremely shook up. 2 other people had minor issues. I'm sure other employees are going to have issues, and I don't know what the answer is.
Carmine's owner, Jeff Banks, says he can't even believe he and Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer had to call a press conference
to explain don't assault hospitality workers.
They're trying to keep us safe. We're trying to keep them safe, and we have to find laws, if that's what it takes, to stop this insane way of approaching people who are just doing their job.
In this case, the 3 Texas women accused of attacking the hostess, identified as...
I mean, there's already laws for that. What are you calling for further? You want harsher punishment or something? You want to create more of a police state? I don't know. Nah, there's already laws for that. That's why they're being punished right now. So what is she talking about? And what is BLM there? I don't know if they're going to bring that up in this video, but BLM showed up to the restaurant. For what? How do you even know that the story that's being given is, you know, BLM's a fucking clown show, and they sitting up there yelling shame at the manager and all this shit, and manager didn't back down. He didn't back down from it. But you know, that's a whole fucking that's a whole circus within itself, man.
49-year-old Sally Lewis, 44-year-old Kaida Rankin, and her 21-year-old daughter Tyani Rankin were given desk appearance tickets. Banks says maybe that's not enough to send a strong message. He says there's nothing wrong with the vaccine mandate or asking workers to enforce it. They have to enforce rules when they card people for alcohol.
Don't change the mandate, change the consequences.
And we have tried speaking with that young hostess. She is understandably taking the day off. She was treated for her injuries, so she is not working here today. But the restaurant says there will be an extra person working.
I mean, protect our people, protect our business owners. Are y'all going to fight against the state? You know what I'm saying? What are y'all consequences that y'all going to give to these leaders that are breaking their own rules and shit like that? But like I said, who knows if they even comprehend that? You know, dealing with this American public school system, the education, not just, you know, the indoctrination through the school system, through television, all type of shit, man.
That host stand tonight for security. Live on the Upper West Side, Sonia Rincon, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Yeah, so they got a bench, you know, they're to appear before the judge, man. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think.
We have some exclusive new video showing the violent beating of a hostess at a popular restaurant in Manhattan. The attack itself shocking, but what makes this crime even more remarkable is that it may be the first assault carried out in direct response to the city's indoor vaccination mandate. Newswear's Adam Harding covering this. He brings us a story from the Upper.
I mean, it makes it no difference than the stuff that was happening during the mask mandates. You had, and it's not just, you know, we like try to paint it as, you know, Trump supporters. It was a lot of it was, you know, you had Trump, you know, people who were, you know, following the line, white folks who follow Trump. They were having these big old, you know, blow-ups in public and going into stores. I mean, shit, I've seen it themselves because the store tell them they got to put a mask on and shit like that. But shit, seen it with black folks too. Hell, I think even one security guard got fucking killed. I've seen it multiple times. You know, it's happening with a lot of folks. So, you know, vaccines, masks, whatever, mandates are unconstitutional when it comes to the state implementing on private businesses. If it's going to be with if it's going to be something that's through a government, you know, you dealing with government contract or anything like that, you know, you do what you got to, you know, you do what you do. But, you know, private business, it sets too bad of a precedent, and you allowing, you know, tyranny to creep through your back door at any moment. We may not live to see that, you know, it's already tyranny what's going on, but, you know, that one that's, you know, really, you know, when you're really living in a nightmare. We may not live to see it. It's maybe something that our, you know, our descendants, our kids, you know, grandchildren, they might see. But, you know, nonetheless, you're still opening that door for that, you know, allowing that to be the mindset that this shit is okay, right? But, you know, these mandates, you know, don't go to the restaurant owner. Talk to your state. Yeah.
West Side.
This is exclusive cell phone video of Thursday's attack outside Carmine's restaurant on the Upper West Side. Watch as the hostess stand is nearly tipped over. Tempers flare. At one point, a waiter helps carry someone away from the scene.
Oh, wow. That was bad.
We showed the wild brawl to customers. They are in utter disbelief, especially since the restaurant says it all started when the 22-year-old hostess simply asked a group from Texas to show proof of a COVID vaccination to dine inside, part of the city's executive order that went.
So I told you what it was, and like I said, when they had got everything back in order, the patrons were walking back inside, and what the restaurant alleges that the hostess said was enjoy your meal. But whatever it was she said, restaurant said she said enjoy your meal. I find it hard to believe that they would fucking get mad at that point and decide they're gonna whoop their ass. You know, they had been having an argument at that point. Like I said, shit like that does happen. People do call names, say racial slurs and shit like that to set people off. But at the same time, people lie too. But it's, it sounds weird that, it's weird to sit there and just say, enjoy your meal, and that's what set them off. I don't know about that. She might have said some shit. Who knows?
Into effect this week. Law enforcement sources say the hostess was then repeatedly punched in the face and body and sent to the hospital.
The businesses have a role and the citizens have a role. So I think we need to all be held responsible and play our part. And we have to respect the business's decision. It's a privilege to sit in an establishment, so we have to respect their choices as well.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Carmine says, in part, it is a shocking and tragic situation.
Privilege bestowed by the owner, by the property owner. Not the property owner, but the owner of the restaurant or wherever you're at, not the fucking state.
When one of our valued employees is assaulted for doing their job as required by city policies and trying to make a living. Elijah Jackson was here celebrating his birthday with family.
I'm disappointed. Because, we're trying to get together. We're trying to open the city back up. And the only way we're going to do that is with vaccinations.
Slave mindset. Slave mindset. The only way to do this, you allow... Y'all been seeing the whole process of everything that they've been talking about. And I can't be on this much longer. I got to go wash some clothes and everything. But, look up Operation LAC or look up Operation Sea Spray. Your government has always been corrupt. So like I said, you're keeping the door open. We talk all this stuff about Black Wall Street and things like that. They don't need that no more. They got biological warfare they can do to you. Like I said, the proof is right there. The proof is in, those two stories and countless other stories, man. But not only that, but look at what's going on and, everything that's been Fauci's been accused of and how we got caught lying with the whole gain of function research and everything like that, and how they were sitting up there messing with the previous SARS CoV-1, and that's what gain of function is. The gain of function basically increases, they sit up there testing it, playing with it, see the different things that it does, and putting human receptors on the rodents, and testing it in a lab that's in the middle of an extremely populated city, right? But that's the story that they put out. Like I said, there's a lot of shit that you could see could be gained, that could possibly be gained by doing something like this. You had the largest transfer of wealth in, I don't know about the world, but we know in U.S. history ever last year in 2020. And like I said, even that, compliance. These people who are in power, y'all just look at them as politicians and they're in this bestowed, a prestigious position, but you don't understand these people came into these positions from straight strong arm, from power. The same way most positions and people gain, governments, who gets to choose what's what and what happens. It comes through a lot of blood, slaughter, survival of the fittest, strong arming. The victor gets the spoils. And so and then y'all turn around and y'all do this stuff and talk about it's the only way that we'll be able to get back to whatever, man. It's slave talk, man.
So I think it's a good idea that they're making it a mandate to get in with a vaccine card. But if that's the reaction, maybe we need to think of something else.
And tonight, the Hospitality Alliance is calling on the city and state to increase penalties for assaulting restaurant workers who are trying to enforce these new COVID rules. Investigators tonight
that's no indictment. I don't want to say that, like there's a lot of people that are thinking like that. He seemed like a, cool young brother. You look at it, he was sitting there trying to figure it out himself. He really don't know. Man.
And thus, 3 are now facing charges. On the Upper West Side, I'm Adam Harding, News 4, New York.
Seeing if they show the video of BLM there at the restaurant. Look, there goes the story right here.
April, thank you. A 17-year-old restaurant hostess in Baton Rouge is recovering after allegedly being attacked by a group of customers angry that she could not seat them due to the COVID guidelines. Trey Cuvion reports.
At the Chili's on Constitution Avenue just off of College Drive, Kelsey Wallace says she was working on Sunday when a large group of about 13 people came in to eat.
My general manager told us we're not supposed to sit a table over 6 because of the corona.
Y'all can't claim racism on this one. It's a black girl. It's a black hostess. Y'all can't use that on these. Hey, maybe that's what these restaurants should start doing. Start having to make sure y'all your hostess are black. Don't even do the people of color thing. Make sure they all black so they can't use that card on.
She says she sat 6 of them down at one table, but she couldn't seat the.
Gotta deal with these fucking BLM and shit coming to your door. Y'all know I'm with the, I want black people to get justice and things like this in this country, but understand them fools over at BLM, they not on your side. This is a co-opted movement. They co-opted the movement of what Darren Seals or what he had going on over there in St. Louis. What was that? Where Mike Brown got killed and everything. They co-opted his whole movement, and that brother died not too long after that. And they just ran on with it, but they don't stand for nothing, man. They don't stand for nothing. These folks is, like they said, trained Marxists like they claim to be. The opposite of everything that, brothers like Malcolm X spoke of. We don't want, do for self. Screw all those handouts, and begging the government. The government ain't never going to do you right. They just going to keep leading you along. You see everything that's happening with Biden and all the shit that he, promised and shit like that. Now he ain't gave niggas shit. Sit up there and tell you ain't black if you don't vote for me and stuff like that. He ain't done a damn thing, but exacerbated the problem, which every president, whether Democrat or Republican, all they're gonna do is keep making the shit worse, man. And
rest of the party at another table because there were still more than 6 people. Wallace says the group became increasingly upset, so she went to get her manager a second time. That's when police say she was attacked.
And she pushed me. And when she pushed me, all I knew was to, push her back. I reacted, and that's when her and her daughters, they all came, and they grown women. I'm 17 years old. They're like 20, 30, and the woman that pushed me looked like she was like 40. So instead of they own me, they beating me, I'm instead of trying to hit them, trying to get all of them off me, and then the lady, she takes a wet floor sign and slams it in my eye, and I had blood gushing everywhere, like.
With her face covered in blood, Wallace was eventually taken to the back of the restaurant. Police arrived after the alleged attackers left in different cars.
After that, I had to go to the hospital to get 5 stitches in my eye. And as I'm laying on the bed, this keep replaying in my head. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe, I'm trying to work, and this happened to me.
Along with the shock and embarrassment that she's felt, coupled with the pain in her eye.
And I have a big bald spot in the back of my head from them.
Yeah, it's enough, man. Respect people's property. Respect where they at, man. I remember one time, man, we posted at a cat, cat was cool with and shit like that. And, man, I must have got a little bit too drunk. And, man, I was, I forgot what the fuck, man. I think I was cussing them out or some shit, man. And didn't even realize I was doing it. Dude told me stop, and guess I did it again, and man, he was telling me to get out, and I told, I'm telling him, like, motherfucker, you gonna have to put me out. He showing his pistol and everything. Back then, I didn't give a damn, man. Back then, when you young, man, you full of that courage, you don't give a shit about nothing. He could have very easily, man, pulled that out and, did what he had to do right there and within that moment. I wouldn't be speaking to you now, but the fact of the matter is, whether I was right or whether it don't matter who was right or wrong. I'm in his place of dwelling, but this is what I didn't understand as a youth. And probably if I would have had that concept, I would have, you know, I would have been, you know, awake enough to understand that and get the fuck out of a person's house when they say get out. People are just afforded that right, man, to remain safe within their own dwelling, whether restaurant, home quarters, whatever it is. You can't go beating people up. You can't go beating the people that, you know, are employed at this place of business, man. You 100% wrong. There's no excuse ever for none of that. If you don't like it, get the fuck out, man. That's simple. But I gotta go, man. I've been here long enough, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments section. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, man. Let's get this channel up, man. I'll holler at y'all later.